Hey, it's Dave from cheapwinefinder.com again with another little mini companion podcast for a wine we put on the cheapwinefinder.com website today. And this is kind of an accidental wine. This is a Trader Joe's wine. And I went there the other day looking for a particular wine. And I saw this and I grabbed it. And it's the VINTJS, the VINTJS, Sonoma Coast Pinot Noir 2018. And the reason I grabbed it is because it says Sonoma Coast on the label. And that runs along the coast all the way up to Mendocino and Sonoma. In between a couple of mountain ranges there. It goes inward a little bit, even into the Russian River Valley. But it is a very high-end Pinot Noir growing area. All the vineyards, all the wineries are all these boutique wineries. And a couple of years now, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago at this point, I went to a Sonoma Coast tasting. And all the winemakers and the winery owners were the ones that were there pouring your wine with one great wine after another. And you're talking and asking questions to these like rock star winemakers and people whose name you've seen in pictures in Wine Spectator and you've heard about and read about, and here you are chit-chatting with them and drinking with them. It's a pretty cool event, and I always liked it. And Sonoma Coast always had a soft place in my heart. It's a little bit, for the most part, because it's mostly boutique, out of the cheapwinefinder.com price range. ALDI had a Sonoma Coast wine a couple of years ago. I put maybe last year, I put the link to it in the review. And that was a $12.99 Sonoma Coast Pinot Noir. Full $6 more than this one. So when I saw $6.99 Sonoma Coast Pinot Noir, I grabbed it. And VINTJS is Trader Joe's label that's kind of, hey, we got a deal, no big deal. It's not like the Platinum Reserves and the Grand Reserves and the super secret Grand Reserve wines, all those fancy ones. So, normally these wines don't have fancy stories, and these Trader Joe's wines, from Sonoma Coast, shouldn't cost that much. That $12.99 Aldi's wine was cheap. So it was weird, and I drank it, and it wasn't it wasn't like a $25 wine for $6.99. It just wasn't. I'm not sure what the scenario is about it. In the review, if you want to check that out, I wrote about a few things that could happen. I remember maybe 6-7 years ago now in Australia. A wine that came from Barossa Valley, Shiraz, where these things cost about $40 and it was selling for $9.99. And it turned out that they had rains all at the wrong time, just as they were picking the grapes, as it had to be picked because it's hot there. It poured, and when it rains, the moisture goes up into the grapes. They're out of balance. There's too much water. There's not enough, And they sold it off, and Trader Joe's had it. And it was like, ooh, I don't know about this, because they were just out of balance. This one kind of reminds me a little of that. It's not completely out of balance. It's still drinkable. It's still fine. And for $6.99 for a Sonoma Coast Pinot Noir, that's like, it's great for that. But you wouldn't pay $25 for it. But of course, you wouldn't do that. I'm gonna take a sip. As it opens up, it gets better. When I first tasted, the spice was kind of out of touch. It's not super delicious. It's not bad. It's got soft, rounded fruit. The spice is a little out of balance, if you ask me. At least my taste. But it's not bad. And for high-end, like I said, Sonoma Coast, there's, I think, 11 wineries in the whole place. Maybe only 4,000 to 5,000 acres. This is not a huge growing area, and to get wines into the cheapwinefinder.com price range, you kind of have to make a lot of wine. This is not a region that makes a lot of wine. So I'm glad to taste it. it's one of those things where maybe you should be drinking, the high-end wines. If it's known for high-end, it doesn't really do low-end or, entry level, then just drink the high-end when you get a chance. But here it is at $6.99. Take a chance. What do you got to lose? Make sure you open it up. Make sure it's fine, why it's the price it is, I don't know. I went through some scenarios, check it out. There's 1,000 of them. Sometimes these wines are $7 that should be $25, and usually they're $7 that should be $7. That's just the way it is. But there you go. It's the Pinot Noir. It's from the Sonoma Coast. It's vintages from Trader Joe's. Doesn't cost anything. Interesting. If you want to check out a wine from the Sonoma Coast, just to get a little bit of what's going on there. And it's not going to be the best wine to choose to get a handle on there, but it's cheap and it's not bad. It's just high maintenance. That's all. So keep it cheap. Adios, and I'll be talking to you in a couple of days. Bye bye.